I want to thank all of you for joining us here today at the Drug Enforcement Administration Rocky Mountain Field Division, giving attention to both the public safety and public health threat which fentanyl and those who traffic it continue to present to our community. Fentanyl remains the deadliest drug threat to face our country, and the state of Colorado is certainly not immune from the harm it has done and continues to do. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. At a national level, drug overdose deaths have declined from highs of around 110,000 deaths in 2022 and 2023 to the most recently released data of 73,690 reported deaths for the 12-month period ending April of 2025. Those numbers still equate to filling a professional football stadium on a Sunday afternoon. While it's a positive sign that both state and nationwide overdose deaths are trending downward, Denver County is seeing an increase in overdose deaths compared to last year, with many of those deaths involving fentanyl. Our DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division is on pace to seize a record amount of fentanyl for 2025, in no small part due to the record-breaking seizure presented here today. With a reminder that only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is considered a lethal dose, and DEA's one pill can kill messaging, here laid out before you is the Colorado state record for a single seizure of fentanyl, approximately 198 kilograms, or an estimated 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills, along with an additional 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder. This marks the largest ever single seizure of fentanyl in the state of Colorado and the 6th largest ever in the United States. Let's be clear, this seizure represents thousands of lives saved. It is also indicative that the Mexican cartels continue to traffic significant quantities of fentanyl to Colorado, and the seizure has been tied to active DEA investigations involving federal, state, and local partners touching 6 different states as well as Mexico targeting the Sinaloa cartel. We will continue to work with our partners to target them and their supply of deadly fentanyl in an effort to protect our communities and save lives. I am joined today by Douglas County Sheriff Darren Weekly, who's going to detail the origin of how this seizure came to be. He will then be followed by Colorado Bureau of Investigation Director Armando Saldate to share some of his insights and CBI's role in the larger investigation before I return to add some additional comments on our efforts on holding accountable those responsible for trafficking this poison into our nation. And with that, Sheriff Weekly, if you'll come up.
Good morning. Last Tuesday, November the 11th, our deputies were called to a storage facility in Highlands Ranch. Someone had legally purchased through auction one of those storage units. And shortly after they inspected that unit, they realized there were illicit drugs inside. And they did the right thing. They immediately contacted the sheriff's office. When our deputies got there, they secured the area and confirmed that the unit contained several kilogram-sized packages that looked like illegal narcotics, plus a huge number of M30 pills, the kind that are often counterfeit and often contain fentanyl. Now we'd like to show you a video of what happened when our deputies arrived on scene and the conversation with the supervisor.
Just let me stay out here. This will be quite the story to tell. Can we just look this one? Oh, yep, where'd it go? No, that's an absolute metric ton of fentanyl. I got a very unique situation here. A gentleman just bought a unit over here at the storage facility off of Johnstown. And it's got, yeah, that one's full of pills as well. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bricks that probably look like, I haven't looked into those yet, but we're looking at a couple hundred bags of blue pills.
Again, to put this into perspective, here's what we seized. 198 kilos, about 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills. Another 12 kilos of fentanyl powder. Again, this is the largest single seizure of fentanyl in the history of the state of Colorado. We also seized 2.5 pounds of meth. I want to be clear that this citizen did exactly the right thing. The moment that he realized that something was wrong, he stopped, he stepped back, and contacted the authorities. Because of his actions, we were able to remove a significant amount of dangerous narcotics out of circulation. Drugs that could have easily made it to our streets and to our communities. To be clear, this reporting party undoubtedly saved countless lives, not only in Douglas County, but throughout Colorado and likely throughout our nation. This incident highlights the very clear and real danger that fentanyl poses to our community. Even in small amounts, fentanyl can be lethal. And it's hidden not only in counterfeit pills, it's hidden in storage units and hidden in many different forms. It's a serious threat, but I want to make something also very clear. We are dedicated to this crisis. Fentanyl and illegal illicit narcotics will not be tolerated in our communities. And particularly in the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, our deputies, our detectives, and our crime lab professionals are committed to keeping this community safe, and we will remain relentless in that mission. I want to thank the citizen who reported this, the storage facility staff and the management for their cooperation, and the deputies who responded quickly and professionally. I would also like to thank our federal partner, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and CBI for their quick response and partnership. None of us can do this job alone. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Director of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Armando Sedalte.
Good morning. Thank you for coming here today to discuss this record fentanyl seizure that highlights the ongoing efforts of law enforcement to combat drug trafficking in our communities. I'm happy to be joined by these partners here that are vital to this fight and the fight that we take every day to make our communities safer. This massive seizure just mentioned that we've just talked about represents over hundreds of pounds of fentanyl pills alone. While the CBI certainly does not take credit for this seizure that occurred in Douglas County from this storage locker, what I'm here today to talk to you about is how these drugs were directly associated with what started as a CBI investigation earlier this year into a drug trafficking organization operating here in Colorado. Earlier this year, a wiretap investigation involving many partners, including CBI, identified a major drug trafficking organization linked to the Sinaloa cartel that funneled drugs into Colorado, led by two brothers who led that drug trafficking organization. That investigation led to multiple arrests and drug seizures earlier this year, but obviously not all the drugs the group produced were found. It turns out the fentanyl you see today was sitting in a storage locker for months. We now know that storage locker belonged to a drug courier linked to this organization. Once the courier was arrested, the storage unit bill went unpaid. CBI agents conducted search warrants and identified suspects in connection with this drug trafficking ring. The sheer volume of drugs found in this storage locker indicates a very sophisticated operation, likely producing millions more pills. We extend our sincere gratitude to the Drug Enforcement Administration for their cooperation in our original joint investigation, and of course, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office for the storage unit's discovery and investigation following. These joint partnerships are crucial in identifying and dismantling drug rings, such as the one believed to be associated with this drug cartel. The seizure of these drugs represents countless lives saved, as these dangerous substances will never reach our communities. Our mission to get drugs off the streets and put drug traffickers behind bars and make Colorado safer remains as vital as ever. Thank you.
Sheriff Weekly, Director Saldate, and also joined by our Rocky Mountain High Director Keith Weiss. Personally, on behalf of DEA, I'm grateful to each of you and your agencies for your support, partnerships, and investigative collaboration. The first phone call from Douglas County to DEA actually went to a Douglas County task force officer who was assigned right here in this building to our DEA HIDA task force. And as a federally deputized task force officer, they have access to all of the same databases, tools, and resources that our agents have. And as a result, within minutes of that phone call, they were able to link this seizure that you see here to an ongoing and active DEA investigation with tentacles along the southwest border and into Mexico. As mentioned earlier, this seizure has been linked to elements of the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful cartels in Mexico, and heavily involved in fentanyl trafficking. The Sinaloa cartel was designated earlier this year as a foreign terrorist organization, due in large part to its involvement in fentanyl trafficking. Had this amount of fentanyl hit the streets, numerous lives could have been lost. While we are limited in what we can say related to the specific investigation, know that DEA is relentlessly pursuing the Sinaloa cartel and working towards their elimination. We have identified an individual associated with this storage locker who is part of the organization and has been in custody since April of this year as a result of this multi-agency effort. The fact the individual has been in custody for the past 6 to 7 months in part corroborates why the storage locker had gone to auction. The individual is going through his criminal proceedings, and as a result, we are limited in terms of what we can share on his background. While there are countless captivating storylines that I don't doubt will be generated by this fentanyl seizure, from its record-breaking amount to a made-for-TV episode of Storage Wars, the bottom line is this seizure represents countless lives saved. We are going to continue to pursue those who traffic such poison into our communities, and while one pill can kill, one conversation can save.